Welcome back to Venture Onward. Today I plan to talk about how Titans shift over to the cosmic of the DC Multiverse today. The first half of Titans' fourth and final season showcases Gar Logan being carried away into the red, the extra-dimensional energy linking all animal living things in the multiverse, and the trace of his abilities. In the latest episode of Titans, Beast Boy locates himself floating in the multiverse, coming face to face with every person from the fastest man alive to his animated self. The descriptions of the multiverse resemble a 3D render of Grant Morrison's multiverse drawing, with scenery reminiscent of the sequential zone from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It also opened, granting Gar to sight realms within the multiverse, just as Grant Gustin did in the first season of The Flash. Suitably enough, Gustin's Flash plays a part in the first of the openings. It felt like Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels when he entered a time portal in the episode of A World Between Worlds. What initiations as an expedition of self-discovery for Gar immediately rockets into an astonishing surprise from his past before developing a full-on festival of the opportunities of the varied interactive program alterations of the DC Universe in one of the most significant episodes Titans has ever exhibited. This storyline line is gathered in the concluding season's 9th episode, sassily labeled, "Dude, Where's My Gar?" Surprisingly enough, Ryan Potter co-wrote the episode along with series co-creator Jeff Johns, which is Potter's first writing credit on the show since the Season 3 premiere. After admitting defeat to the Red, Gar discovers himself at a campfire in an isolated hollow with an unknown masked man who understands the reality about Gar's animalistic abilities. After consuming a peculiar potion, Gar discovers himself on a voyage through time and space as he accepts his future while scenery out to connect his links in their imminent definitive fight against Brother Blood. Along the way, Gar traverses a pathway with numerous fan-favorite known faces where most appearances are existing footage from other TV shows and movies such as The Flash, Swamp Thing, Teen Titans Go, Smallville, Superman, The Movie, Harley Quinn, Batman, Dozier, and Shazam. Speaking of Gar traveling the multiverse, he gets a proper multiverse meeting when Gar intersects directions with Brec Bassinger, who portrays Courtney Whitmore, aka Stargirl, in the ended CW show. The two have a fun and brief comedic exchange, and while that character is now part of the Arrowverse, there was a time when there was a rumor that she could be a different counterpart, me included, of the Titans verse. Though I'm not quite sure if we can argue that the Titans are outside of the Arrowverse, not as they first appeared in the CW crossover of Crisis of Infinite Earths. I suppose it's up to the opinion of the audience. Gar ends up meeting with B'wana Beast, whose powers are drawn from the Red, like Animal Man and Vixen. He also arrives in the world of Doom Patrol, where he ultimately connects with Cyborg, played by Joyvan Wade, a character who is customarily a Titan and best friends with Gar in most realities. Still not sure why Warner Brothers decided to put Cyborg in the world of Doom Patrol instead of the Titans, but all I can say is that it wasn't my call. Beast Boy discovers the horrifying truth about his origin in one of the many callbacks. It turns out the Chief possessed the lab that made the infection which murdered Gar's parents and handed him his abilities as part of his experimentations. It was all component of the Doom Patrol leader's study into immortality. This astonishing admission resulted in the Titan utilizing the Red to recede to his fellow heroes. As the story progresses, Gar immediately realizes how vast and far the Red's attainment is transversely this universal journey as he varieties the final rise into the champion he was always destined to develop. Dude, Where's My Gar? It is a fantastic ride with the talents of Ryan Potter's performance. Luckily, he is beyond the task as his character gathers all the problematic realities about who he is. Gar must resolve the uncertain pain from his past, deal with being parted away from the Titans in his present, and accept his indeterminate outlook. The attention gleams merely on Potter, and he knocks the matter out of the park, exhibiting an imposing passionate scale. What creates, Dude, Where's My Gar? Shine, nevertheless, is that it's not so clandestinely a devotion to the wider DCU via Gar's senses as he probes greater into the promise represented by the Red. Titans Insured previously set its accommodations in the pantheon of DC-based interactive programs with the Arrowverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This episode doubles down on that multiverse linking. At hand, much is happening here in the episode's concluding action that it resolves to leave any most important DC fan smiling from ear to ear as Gar's cross-dimensional travels grow and gather speed. The most incredibly contentious segment of the episode is the reinvention of unknown DC superhero Freedom Beast, not to be mistaken with Bwana Beast, who assists Gar in comprehending the environment of his task within the Red. Guest star Nyambi does tremendous work depicting all sides of Freedom Beast. It's barely a dramatic role that cannot appeal to contemporary spectators. Several will value his part now, and others could not. As DC folklore is involved, the presence of Freedom Beast, presented his story along with Animal Man and the Red, absolutely creates a tale. As for Brother Blood, well, he still needs to be relatively stroked, formidable enough to act as the last antagonist on Titans, but with character-centric breaks as excellent as this, who gives a hoot? Dude, Where's My Gar? Is one of the best episodes of Titans in modern remembrance and, oddly, only highlights Gar and Rachel Roth from the core composite. There are only 3 episodes of Titans left, but still a lot more to cover, but at least Gar and, by annex, Fodder retain the space to excel as Titans approach its massive climax. One thing I found enjoyable in this episode is that there are tons of witty character reference to the extensive DCU of Titans, which is something I have to admire the series for. Developed for television by Akiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, and Greg Berlanti, Titans has new episodes Thursdays on HBO Max. Well, that's about it. Thank you for listening. Until next time, venture onward.